Welcome everyone, Costin here with a discussion about Durthu in Total War Warhammer 3 Immortal Empires. Maybe the most powerful legendary lord of the Wood Elves, minus Orion's bullshit with free upkeep armies, but outside of that, I think Durthu is certainly the strongest, outside of that particular faction effect that Orion has. I mean, he certainly doesn't have the malevolent forest spirits that Draika has. He doesn't have the item shop that the Sisters of Twilight have. But what he does have is a really good campaign with a lot of potential. He is the only legendary lord of the Wood Elves that can confederate all the others through events, including Draika. Though confederating Draika is a bit annoying because you are required to fight 5 battles against Wood Elves. That is a bit annoying for the event, but you can do it. And, well, 5 battles against Wood Elves. Maybe we should teleport and teach Draika some lessons and have her fall in line. Because it just says 5 battles. I'm curious about that. Regardless, though, you can confederate all of them through the events. And, of course, diplomacy. It's also available through diplomacy if you really, really want to. So there are a ton of options in this particular campaign that you don't have in any other Wood Elven campaign. On top of that, beyond that particular fact, you also can upgrade your Treekin in the same way Draika can with her own, and then you have some really good effects in the offices that you do have available. So you get an effect that gives you growth 25. By the way, this is the first one you should probably pick, but gives you 25 growth in the local province, casualty replenishment, and an ability. Then you get control and corruption benefits. Not really quite as useful, but 15% construction costs, 10% income over there. Or one that gives you 100 experience per turn and recruit rank +2. And all of these offices do reduce your upkeep in your own territory by 20%. Yes, there are some issues, of course, with all of this, that you do need to be in your own territory, but it is quite strong. Furthermore, when you're looking at Ancient Treemen, you recruit them at a very high rank because Durthu, with the office he starts, the eldest of the Ancients, he has +5 recruit rank for Ancient Treemen. And he also gets the Lamentation of Despairs, which is pretty powerful. On top of that, he has an incredibly powerful ability for both Ancient Treemen and Treemen, which is Wall Breaker. So one of the issues that Wood Elves may have in a campaign is actually siege tactics, because you don't have a way of reaching for the walls. Yes, you can attack for the gate, you have powerful range units to kill everyone inside, but with your Treekin in particular, is kind of an issue when you're dealing with that, simply because you can't create as many openings and you just get funneled through a gate. Durthu does not have that problem. So Durthu has a really powerful siege army. It's not ogre level, to be certain, but just the ability of opening walls does make Durthu's armies in general some of the best siege armies in the entire game. Because yes, artillery is really powerful, all that, but just the ability of smashing down the walls with units, as opposed to having to use ammo from artillery, is incredibly powerful. And look at that, you start with a Treeman, Durthu himself is an Ancient Treeman, and you get a massive benefit in terms of recruit rank for Treemen leading armies. All of this is incredibly powerful. Now over here I am in Cafe getting access to, working on this one to be specific actually, in order to get the landmark over here that would reduce the upkeep of Forest Spirit units by 30%. Pretty damn powerful stuff. Furthermore, when we look at Durthu's campaign, another thing to keep in mind over here is that he starts in the Southern Grey Mountains. Now, taking Ray settlements as the Wood Elves is certainly annoying, but because you start in this particular province, you have the ability, well, taking Nuln, for instance, settling it to Karl Franz, maybe getting an alliance with him, or wiping out Karl Franz to take Altor for yourself. That's also a choice, if you want to, because he would improve your economy. I don't think it's necessarily worth it, by the way, because Karl Franz can be a great ally and secure your entire border. But regardless, the fact that you start over here in the Southern Grey Mountains is a significant advantage compared to Orion, because one of the things you can do is build up forging groves over here in every single settlement here. Yes, it might take you a while to, rebuild all of them because you might not have enough money to, say, take the Gristle Valley as quickly as possible, but you at least have the ability to get a lot of these, and this would give you a significant benefit in terms of growth in all adjacent provinces, allowing you to build your economy up faster. Also, you can recruit Treekin at tier 2, get branch rates at tier 2, which is an enormous benefit compared to playing poor Orion. Don't get me wrong, Orion is obviously a really powerful lord, to be certain, but it does get a bit annoying having to just play with respect to Glade Guard, for instance, early on. Also, it's a bit annoying having to take a tier 3 capital early on in Orion's campaign, because that is certainly something he is going to have to deal with. Lots of power in that campaign as well, of course. An enormous amount of power. He's the most ridiculous in the game. But it's just really because of the upkeep effect. Take that upkeep away, Orion's got nothing in his campaign. That's the reason they added it in the first place. But Durthu, he's just got genuine raw power. He's an ancient treeman with a freaking sword that's going to obliterate everything in his path. His skill line is pretty decent as well when we're looking at it, though obviously it's not going to be at the best because the faction effects with Durthu are really the best. Though he does get an upkeep of minus 30% for Forest Spirit units. So really, Durthu's ability is all about focusing on Forest Spirit units. He also gets all units in his army are immune to all attrition. So you can run around with Durthu in the Chaos Wasteland if you want to. You will not take attrition. So a significant level of power. And then on top of that, you get Mastery of the Elemental Winds ability for Ancient Treemen and Embedded Spellsingers. And you get Wrath of the Wood for Ancient Treemen, which gives armor-piercing missile damage and base missile damage for allies in range. All of them. If you're casting, of course. There's incredible potential in this particular campaign from the very beginning of it. It might be a bit slower than some other campaigns, at least in the initial territory, though actually starting in Alpha building up these construction benefits, declaring war, honestly, I would say that defeating these two factions is actually worth it because you get a bunch of experience and you get a bunch of money. Sure, you won't get an army, but look at this army. Outside of, like, the Way Watchers, there's nothing in this army that's worth it. The heroes, oh, whatever, you can recruit those your own. So it's actually better to take these settlements on your own through military force because of the experience benefit that you would have. Or you could sack them and get a ridiculous, absurd level of money because Wood Elven settlements do provide that. Also, quite a few forest encounters over here in Athaloran. So I used to believe like starting as the sisters was better, but then you realize like, yeah, well, you kind of want to go to Cafe anyway very quickly, but you also want to go to Athaloran if you're playing with sisters or Draika. So that's a bit annoying, to be certain, dealing with that. Whereas as Durthu, you just take your first D-Pud into Cafe, get access to the forest tree spirits there very, very quickly, very, very easily, and get access to this army, which has Malevolent Treekin as well as Malevolent Treemen. This is, and Dryads, but I lost them because, well, a certain Dark Elf showed up. Let's just put it like that. And after that, you can do whatever you want in this campaign. Always remember to get the Wisdom of the Eagle Lords so you can get vision and declare various wars and take advantage of it diplomatically. Hell, I confederated this faction just simply because I had vision. Through that technology, they were about to be wiped out by Manfred, so they were willing to bend the knee to Durthu, so to speak. And I'm probably going to show up over here just to beat the crap out of Vlad. Out of Manfred. And then Vlad, of course, I'll be going after Vlad as well, making a permanent alliance with Karl Franz. But yeah, gonna be going after Manfred, gonna be going after Cetra. I mean, that's where Durthu is headed towards next. Really good campaign, really a huge amount of power, good effects from a practical standpoint. Like, Orion is powerful, but he's dull. Durthu is powerful. and he's interesting. Just the possibilities you have in this campaign, diplomatically speaking, militarily speaking, that you don't necessarily have in other campaigns. Costine, signing out.